I'm trying something new. A couple of you guys wanted to actually see a face cam, so we're doing a face cam on this video. But I wanted to bring up a point, and we're still going to jump into my computer like normal, just because I like having the visual aids. And I probably already lost 10 people at this point in time because I didn't actually open up with the correct intro. But besides the point, I wanted to talk about the aspect of how Uraraka said this to Himiko. I said things that I thought were common sense. So it's just like she was saying these things to her that she thought was common sense. And this is the thing that Voltaire, English writer, French writer, philosopher, back in the 1600s, basically. Great, smart dude, highly recommend him. I'll link down, if I can find it, a podcast or a lecture based on this as well, too. If you want to learn a little bit more about Voltaire, just Google him and you can understand his principles. But basically said common sense is not so common. And I've been able to run into this. I've run into this with a couple of other people as well, too. And just my overall world view is like we only have our specific story of what we know to be true. Whereas like when Uraraka looked at Himiko and remembered that like the things that she was saying, she got very emotional. She didn't understand like some of the aspects of what she was talking about. Like she just kind of felt sad. And it's just like we think and all we can ever know. And I was trying to find what this was called, but I couldn't think of it because it's not a confirmation bias. And the Googling that I did, it didn't end up showing anything up. So I wanted to get a video out nonetheless. But it's just like we believe that what we know to be true is just common sense among everybody else. I have an example for this. It doesn't necessarily relate to this anime, but it is still something that I believe is going to be valuable to you. So like I've been studying business, self-development, personal growth for, I don't know, probably 8 years at this point in time. I've been talking with some people on Discord around these concepts as well. And I had a meeting with a dude the other day who, to me, like, it's just common sense. It's like, you got to know your avatar. So it's like my avatar is weebs, it's otakus, it's gamers, it's people that are wanting to grow and evolve and hopefully become healthier fitness-wise, which you can check out the video that I released the other day. Wanting to have more confidence, wanting to get good at, like, maybe interpersonal skills, want to know how to talk with women, like want to have all these different characteristics and traits that maybe you don't originally have right now. And that's my goal because I was in that exact same place as you, and that's basically what an avatar is in short, is it's some specific person that you're wanting to talk to. And to me, it's just like, this is just common sense. Like, these are just the things that you do to be able to, like, meet somebody or talk with somebody and know who you're wanting to provide that information to. It's why this is the one channel that I've tried with countless other channels, has worked at least better than other channels that I've had in the past because there's a clear avatar and person that I am talking to, which is you on the other side of the screen right now. And that's why when it's just like we hear these things in these animes, especially if you did watch the most recent episode, it's like it's common sense to you, but it's not so common to somebody else. And it's why like I love how she's going to be the one that ends up saving Himiko, and maybe you can be the savior of somebody else as well too, because maybe what you believe to be common, such as like the golden rule, where it's like do unto those as you do unto you as you undo unto others. It was talked about in Fallout, and I have a video coming out around that a little bit as well too. But it's basically along the lines of like, you want to do the good that is inherent, like you treat others as you want to be treated, basically. But it's just like when we look back at Himiko's past, it's kind of like you see like, and this is the thing that I want to relay primarily, is like we don't know what the other person's going through. Like we have no idea what their past was, what their situations were like, how they ended up growing up, like what their family home was like. And it's just like, this is why I'm under the impression of like, you don't want to judge people or talk with people negatively or poorly, because they are still people at the end of the day. They just ran into somebody and had bad circumstances, and then somebody like All For One came in, or somebody else that is like Shigaraki came in and gave them hope of like, hey, I know that you've been ostracized and you've been afraid and you haven't had the best of luck in life, but hey, I'm here to help you out, and we can control the world in the ways that we want to because we've had shortcomings. But it's like we both know, where when we look at like how Deku also wants to save Shigaraki, where he's like, when he was inside of him, he also saw a little boy crying. And it's just like we all have that little boy inside of us that's crying and begging out for help, because if you remember from previous episodes, and I'm sorry I didn't grab clips for this, but like if we remember in previous episodes with Shigaraki's past and how like he didn't know Decay, and his mom did actually want to come and save him and was like, hey, I'm sorry that this is happening, even though like his dad was the one that he wanted to like still Decay, but like his mom was there like still smiling and like, hey, I want to save my baby boy. But like Shigaraki, he didn't have that. So like when he was staying all alone after he had lost all of his family members, his sister, like he was just so devastated. And as a kid, like you don't know what's necessarily going on in your life. Maybe you can think back to certain times or situations in your life where you have had these struggles, trials, tribulations, and maybe I should use simpler words. I always say those three because just common to me. And that's one of the stories and the common sense that I have in regards to these things. But it's just like, he was sitting out all alone by a dumpster waiting for, like, he had nobody. And then All for One came in, saw that he was alone. And this is what happens. And you'll have other people that are like going to be snakes in your life that are going to try to take over certain controls or make certain aspects not as like, they're going to try to manipulate you in certain ways, shapes, or forms. And that's why it's like, I relayed this information to you to help it so that like you aren't manipulated, because I have been manipulated by other people in the past. That's why I started to learn about these things so that I wouldn't ever have to be in those situations again. Because if you are in, say, maybe a bad situation, a negative situation, you've been conditioned to think that you're a bad person when in actuality it's like you aren't a bad person. And that's why like Uraraka, and I'm probably saying her name wrong, and Deku want to save like Shigaraki and Himiko is because basically they are just like them. It's just the difference between them and let me draw this out if I can really quick. So like the difference between both of them is basically, and this is how I like to think about it. So like we can have Shigaraki over here. So like we have S for Shigaraki and H for Himiko, and then we also have Deku for D and O for Uraraka. SH do. So basically like they're kids. Like, so we're both kids right here. We both have each other. We're both the same. We're innocent. We're like, there's no problem or whatsoever. Like we are who we are. We haven't been conditioned. We haven't had any catastrophic trauma, like experiences that have like shaped us into the way that we are. So it's like Deku and Uraraka, they had good parents. So like their parents, like they loved them. They were happy. So like they had happy parents. That looks kind of like an evil face, but disregard that. Whereas Shigaraki and Himiko, they had evil, sad parents that made fun of them. And the reason for that is because they didn't understand the person that they were. Whereas like Deku and Uraraka, they had parents that loved them. We'll draw a heart, very poorly drawn heart, that had a heart that like they loved them, they supported them. They, regardless of like the powers that they didn't have, like they were there for them, and they didn't scold them for being a bad child or bad parent or like doing things that they weren't supposed to do. They more just like encouraged them and was like, hey, what happened? How did you get to this place? Or like they asked questions and actually cared about them instead of like scolding them, because like these parents of Shigaraki and Himiko didn't understand the powers and the skills and traits that they have. And maybe you're in that exact same position. Maybe you have been in that position where you aren't necessarily understood in the same way as these two were. So you decided, hey, I'm going to go down this route. But it's like, you don't have to go down that route. You can go down the route of Deku and Uraraka, where you can have a lot more like common, quote unquote, common sense of like doing good brings good, like helping other people out, treating people as you want to be treated, giving a friendly smile or advice, because like you never know what this person's going through. Because there's countless other people out here exactly like them. It's just they need people such as yourself, heroes, individuals that are strong, that are capable, that are willing to spread like good, positive messages to hopefully change the situation that this person was in. Because you don't know the person's past. All you know is your past and your experiences. So like what you know to be common of like, hey, I work hard, hey, I go to the gym, hey, I treat people with respect, is common to you. But to say somebody else out in the world, that's not so common, because they didn't have that role model or figure in front of them. And a lot of life and how we are in this world right now is the only things that we know is by living and watching other people by example. And nowadays with the internet, you can watch countless other people, and why it's so important and crucial to understand like what type of content you're consuming, because our brains are like plastic and can be molded into any way, shape, or form. So if you're watching content that isn't helping you out and progressing you in the ways that you want in life, you got to change what you're watching and what you're consuming. I do it all the time. I don't watch news. I don't consume certain types of media. Anime is like my one guilty pleasure, along with like movies and cartoons, just because I grew up with that as a kid, and I've found a lot of value in like the stories from what I've learned over the years, and I want to share it with you as well, so that you don't have to go through the same shortcomings or loneliness or like whatever it may be that you're going through right now. I just want to help you avoid those certain types of situations. So we'll wrap up the video right about here. I just want to let you know is like, if you had a bad situation, that doesn't make you a bad person. I've listened to other people. I've listened to therapists. I've listened to their stories. I've listened to countless individuals that I met on the street about like certain things that they've gone through. And I'll leave you with this one story, and it's a little bit more graphic. So if you want to click off at this point in time, by all means, if you are still here, that is, which I know you are, because you're one of the few people that actually makes it through to this point in the video, because you actually do want to have everlasting change in your life, which I'm incredibly proud of, and I appreciate you sticking through. So I was talking to this guy at the gym the other day, and he basically said that his mom died in his arms. I'm like, that is crazy. The dude doesn't drink, he doesn't smoke, he didn't run away from his problems, like he faced them head on. Whereas I've also run into other people where it's like they had bad situations where like maybe they did have a bad past or their mom did die in their arms or something like that, and they go to the bottle, they go to extra, like they go to drugs, they go to alcohol, because I've also run into those people as well too. I had a buddy in college who was addicted to heroin, and to me, like, it's common sense, like, hey, you don't do drugs. But to him, it wasn't so common because he wanted to fit in with these other individuals. So it's just like we have to understand, like, what is common to us isn't going to be so common to somebody else. And if you're trying to reach something, if you're wanting to have some sort of joy, I'd say start listening to more videos like myself. Find other people in this area that are wanting to help you improve, that are wanting to help you, like, change the situation that you're in. Because I was even talking with this girl on Discord that I was talking about at the beginning, where it's like she wanted to be better, but it's like you have to understand what is better, and what is common to you isn't going to be common to somebody else. And being able to understand that, like, your past does not define you. And I have another video that I may redo on this around Assassination Classroom, as that video just popped into my head. So I'll do that after this, and then that'll be posted in a day or so. Most of my videos moving forward, I'm going to try the face cam a little bit, since a couple of you, as I said at the beginning, want to see this, so we'll see. But yeah, it's just like, what is common to you might not necessarily be common to the person sitting next to you, or in the room next to you, or at work, or at school, or on your walk, or like even if you just go out on a bike ride or a walk, like what you think to be common isn't going to be common to that next person across the way, because everybody has their own past experiences that you'll never know. All you ever get to see is them at this specific moment, and not who they were 5 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago, 50 minutes ago, 20 minutes ago. Like, you only get to know them like as you are with them face to face, but you don't know them when you aren't with them face to face. All you ever see is like this specific moment that they are in at right now. So it may be common currently, but like that common sense can evolve and can change. So I'd say what you can walk away with this and take away is like, if you want to have more common sense, start to talk to more people, ask more questions, and just be genuinely curious. And a book that I'd recommend is How to Win Friends and Influence People on this, because then you could just have a genuine interest in other individuals and you're trying to learn from them. And you can be like, okay, so this is what they believe to be common, but this is what I believe to be common. Like, let me go test this thing that they believe to be common and see what happens from there. And as you do that, you'll start to evolve, and then maybe you can also save other people. You can maybe inspire somebody else to go out into the world and try something that they never originally did. And from there, maybe you'll actually have an impact on life. I know that's what I'm trying to do. All I can do it is one step, one person, one video at a time. So that's what I'm working on. And it seems like it's working. At least it has been with these couple of videos that I've been doing over the past couple of months or so. So it's interesting, cool to see. Like, you guys are the ones that make this channel possible. So if you ever want to see anything or have any questions or comments or concerns, whatever it may be, just DM me on Discord. I feel like that's the easiest place, or Instagram, but Discord's just a bit better. Or just leave a comment down below, and we can always talk down there too. All right, I'll wrap it up there. We'll end the video. And yeah, if you guys have any questions, concerns, whatever it may be, or if you're unsubscribed and you made it to this point, just click that button, and we'll test this out, see if these perform well. If not, like, I'm just learning as much as I possibly can, because I want to help as many people as I possibly can. So yeah, chat with you in the next one. Thanks for watching.